Hi there, my name is Elaine Economou and I'm here with my colleague Sarah Cohen from Move Wellness, and we are here to offer you a class today to help our healthcare colleagues with posture and alignment and balanced mobility. So we work with a couple different hospital systems and physicians in the area, and we know that the impact of standing all day and maybe leaning over for procedures and possibly things that take long periods of time, like hours and hours, and holding still, has an impact on your body. And we want to give you some exercises just to help you bring some awareness and strength and balance mobility through the body. This would be something that you could do every day. And if you notice that there's a part of it that doesn't feel great or you have questions about it, you're always welcome to reach out to us. But this should also be part of a regular fitness routine. So it should be added on to everything else that you love to do. And you'll find that if you do this regularly, it will help you get more out of all your other workouts, your cardio, your strength training, and all the other things you love to do. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start sitting, Sarah, and you're going to sit up nice and tall there. And we're going to start with breathing. And I have Sarah doing the exercises today so that I can just talk you through a little bit of the why as she's moving. So we're going to sit up tall. You could do this in a chair if you wanted to. Hands will rest easy on the knees or the thighs. And we're going to start with bringing your focus into your body. So inhale through the nose and easy breezy exhale through the mouth. And always nice to take a couple of breaths, just grounding yourself, feeling the weight of your body into gravity, whatever position you're in. And so she's going to feel her seat and her feet and her legs and her arms. And as you breathe, inhale through the nose, you want to feel your ribs expand side to side and into your back. And then an easy breezy exhale through the mouth. And so as you're inhaling, you want to try to feel the ribs expand and the ribs in the back expand, so that we're not just breathing up into the neck and shoulders, the upper lobes of the lungs. We want to take that breath nice and deep into the lower lobes. And then now, after a few breaths, just practicing that, you're going to inhale same way. And on your exhale, we're going to draw the low abdominals in, maybe 10 or 20%. So you feel a little pull underneath your belly button above your pubic bone. And you inhale, feel the ribs expand, open that turtle shell, and side to side breathing, and exhale, find that little zip up of the low abs. And it's really important to not overdo this, because the ease of moving all the tissue comes with the gentle stimulation. And so we're aiming to fire your transverse abdominis, your TA muscle, and your pelvic floor, and bring all of that breathing into an organized way. So from here, let's breathe and move. Let's do some arm circles next. So we're going to take your arms right out in front and inhale, and then exhale, yawn them open to the side. We're going to do 4 in each direction, and we like to do this one because it glides your shoulder blades on your rib cage and just brings some ease and mobility into the shoulders. And inhale, and you can just bring your arms down towards your knees so you can keep them straight the whole time. Yeah, there you go. One more in this direction. Inhale and exhale. Good. And switch directions. Inhale. So now you're practicing your breathing, you're moving your shoulder blades, and you're connecting to your core. And so we're getting everything organized and online and working for us so that we can do some other movements. And I think this is 3. And we'll do one more. Good. And so now, while we're here, I want to take advantage of just opening up the side body. So let's just take your right arm up, inhale, and then exhale, reach up and over with a long waist on both sides, sinking the right hip into the mat. Inhale, come back up, and exhale, arm down. Inhale, other arm. So you feel the opposition. The hip sits as the arm reaches, and you're getting open all through the whole side of your body. Inhale up, exhale down, one more on either side. Yep. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Good. So let's do our cat stretch. So we're going to go to all fours. Your head can go that way, I think. And here, hands are just wider than your shoulders. pointer fingers are pointing away. And you'll see that Sarah's got beautiful alignment, ears, shoulders, and hips lined up. She's going to show you what happens when people let go of their abs in this position. Yep, or their ribs. And so she's going to pull that transversus in. The TA and your obliques are coming to that movement as well. And you'll see that she's trying a little drag of the hands. If you imagine you're dragging your hands toward your knees, will really help set your shoulder blades on your rib cage. So what we're looking for here is that same breath in to the turtle shell, and then on your exhale into the cat stretch, one bone at a time, tail to head. And she's pushing out of her hands and knees. Her head drops down like a bowling ball. And then she articulates right back to neutral, tail to head, one bone at a time, vertebra by vertebra. Yep. And ear, shoulders, and hips are lined up. We don't let go of those abs. And she's going to repeat that 4 times. And as she's moving, we're just watching. You want to feel like you're trying to articulate one vertebra at a time. And what I love about this exercise is the first thing it does is it moves your pelvis over your femurs. It stretches open the low back and the thoracolumbar fascia, and it helps bring balance, mobility, and release some strain into the head and neck as you let go of the head at the end. Do we have one more? Okay, let's go all the way up. Now stay here, Sarah, and keep breathing, but shift your weight back a little bit. And notice that she is getting a deeper stretch into the low back here. That should feel pretty nice. And you can even go back a little farther if you want, whatever feels good to you, so that you're really opening up that low back and getting some stretch and pull and decompression there. And then come right back to that neutral position. And now if you need a break, you can sit back on your heels. But if you're okay here, yeah, go ahead and show them shell stretch. And so, yep, hands. And then we know child's pose in yoga, just relax everything and show them child's pose, is a real passive stretch. It also feels really great. In Pilates, we talk a lot about shell stretch. So you're going to connect your abs a little bit and lift your hips up so you're a little more active. So we have some active opening of the back there. And so anytime you need a break on all fours, you come back to this position. So from here, we're going to do our sassy cats. So come up to all fours. Again, just getting into neutral position is really great for those upper back extensors and really great for your posture. So sassy cat is the one where you bring your hip to your ear, you look around one side, and same hip to same ear. So she's doing some lateral flexion here, and she's going to come back to neutral on the inhale, and she's going to go exhale the other side. So her hips going to her ear, we don't have any rotation here, and then come back to neutral. And she's going to keep going with that. And what we're doing is we're opening up the opposite side of the body from the direction she's moving in. Yep. One more in each direction. And last one. And then come right back to neutral from here. And let's just do one set of opposite arm and leg reaches, and I'll get out of the way for you. Now, what I want you to do is imagine that she has a cup of tea on her low back, and that's not going to move as she reaches one arm. Inhale, slide the arm and leg away, and then exhale, they float up. Inhale, they touch back down, and exhale, they slide right back into where they started without any shifting side to side. You inhale, and now the goal here is to not let your back extend anymore, but you really want to use your glutes. And so I'm going to give her a little correction here so you can see that, so that the cup of tea wouldn't spill. Hands and toes go down, and you slide them right back in along your midline. And try that again. Inhale and exhale, and inhale, exhale, last one, inhale. And I'm doing about, anywhere from 2 to 4 sets here, but you could add on at least 2 to 4 more sets afterwards. So go ahead and sit back and shell stretch, and let's keep moving. So from here, we're going to go on to our back, and we'd like to fire up our core a little more and feel those abdominals connect. And so in a Pilates session, we always move the body with all the different relationships to gravity, and we try to move the spine in all of its planes of motion. And so you've seen we've done some flexion, we've done some extension, we've done some lateral flexion, and here now we're on our back. And so gravity is our friend, but it means that we want to really help get your abs connected and on. So let's do our single leg lifts. And so here, I want you to exhale and draw your abdominals in and let your ribs settle into your body a bit too. And lift one leg off. Yep. And then on your next exhale, deepen the connection from your ribs and those low abs, and then put your foot down. Yep. And so keep going. You're going to exhale, connect the abs, and then move. And you remember that sequence I like to teach, so that you start the breath and connect the abs, and then you move the second half of the breath. And that really helps you make sure that you're connected in a really deep way. And so what she's doing is she's starting her exhale. She's snuggling her ribs down into her body, pulling those abs in, and then lifting the leg. And the trick is, you don't want to move your bones too much here. We want to just connect the abdominals so that the pelvis doesn't move against the movement of the leg. She's going to do one more. She's going to take the right leg up, and now she's going to keep it there. On her next exhale, take the other leg up. And this is a bigger challenge. Yep. And so what I want you to do is quickly put your hands on your thighs, and you're going to love this. She's going to push her hands into her thighs and her thighs into her hands for a count of 4. Keep breathing. 3. And she's going to turn up the volume on that reciprocal force. And she's going to really feel her abs connect. Do you feel them a lot or a little or in the middle? A lot. Okay, so now she lets her hands rest down. Keep that connection in the abs and toe tap. Tap one leg down. Inhale it back up. And exhale. And every time you exhale, you organically fire your core, your pelvic floor, your transversus. And so that's what we're trying to program here. And she's going to keep going. Why not? Good. Couple more sets. Good. Last set, right and left. Good. Both legs up. And then deepen the belly and let your feet float down. And you can let one or both go down. Good. So from here, we're going to do our hip rolls. And we have a little hip roll variation. It'll be a fun surprise for Sarah. So it'll be news to her. So let's go ahead and press your heels down into the mat. You'll feel your tailbone curl a bit when you do that, and peel your hips right up off the mat, one bone at a time. Try not to let your knees sway open here, and keep the balls of your feet on the mat. Yeah. And then on an exhale, roll down, sternum and ribs go first, bottom rib, then your low back spreads open, and then your tailbone comes down. Yep. And keep going with that. Push the heels, curl the tailbone, lift the pelvis up. So the sacrum is sort of lifting up and through the front. You inhale and reach your knees over your toes, relax your feet. And then exhale, sternum and ribs go down, bottom rib first, and bone by bone through the low back. Good. And 2 more. Exhale, abs, glutes. Come on up. Yeah, inhale. And exhale, sternum and ribs. Keep your knees from opening. There you go. Good. This time you're going to go up and meet me at the top. And if your hamstrings cramp while you're doing this, try to turn up the volume on your glutes. And if they still keep cramping, keep stretching them out, and don't not try this. We're going to do the marches, Sarah. So go ahead and lift one leg and then set it down. Yep, lots of glutes here. Exhale, so keep breathing. Sometimes we want to hold our breath. Yep, and the idea is to try to not let your hips rotate side to side. That's it. One more on either side. And then take a breath in, pubic bone lifts, sacrum floats up, and then you roll down one bone at a time. Good. And go ahead and just hug your knees into your chest and bring your forehead to your knees and just rock side to side, if that feels good to you. Or you can just let your knees sway side to side, whatever feels good. And we're going to do one more here. And this one, we'll just see. I'll talk her through it and we'll see how it goes. So your feet go down, hands rest by your hips. And you feel okay? You can do more? Okay. So curl your tailbone and peel your hips up. Yep. Let's go ahead and take your right knee off into tabletop. Yep. Take your right arm and reach it up to the sky. Yep. And now let your foot and your hand move away from each other. And your glute is working. Yep. And then up. And then reach. Yep. And up. And reach. And up one more. You got it. Reach. And up. Now reach your foot and your hand away from each other and see if you can roll down. I told her I made this up, so we have no idea. But it's really good for that front line of your body for sure. How'd that go? Can we try the other side? All right. So when you're ready, curl your tailbone off and come on up. Try to relax your feet a little bit more. There you go. And your knee and your arm come off. And they reach away from each other. And this is just really nice to open with some challenge the front of your body as we challenge the back of your body. Are we at 4? And then they reach away and you roll right down. Yep. Good. And rest. Whew. Show them, bring your feet wide to the edge of the mat and then let your knees come together. So yeah, this is another way to stretch out your back after you do things that are really, when you load the glutes a lot. How's that feel? Does it feel okay? And you can also bring your feet together, right? And then just gently sway your knees. My favorite little knee sway exercise. Yeah. Good. And so from here, we're going to go onto our belly, prone. And we're going to fold your fingertips under your forehead here. We'll just do a little dart prep, dart. Thighs are parallel. And what Sarah's going to do to set herself up, she knows this, she's going to reach through her legs, press her toes down a bit so her kneecaps are engaged, her glutes are engaged, her low abs are pulling off the mat away from gravity without changing any bones. Show them a posterior tilt here. So you're going to, if you tucked your tail, so if you tuck your tail, that's not what we want here. We want you to stay in a neutral position and really just allow the tissue of the abs to lift up. And she's nice and organized and stable here. And when she's ready, she's going to lift her upper body off the mat, keep the fingertips on the forehead. That's it. Simple dart, all those postural muscles in the upper back. Yep. So let's exhale up, inhale down if you can. Exhale. That's it. And you want to keep your toes pressing down into the mat because we want to keep the work in the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. And if we start to let our feet come up, we're going to start extending more in the lumbar. So you want to keep it there. Yep. And then one more. Yep. Good. And you can do 6 or 8 of these. That's great. Can you go right into the one leg kick setup without doing a shell stretch? But if you need a shell stretch, go ahead and do it. Okay, so bring your elbows under your shoulders all the way up. So prop your elbows up under your shoulders, one leg kick. There you go. And I like to do it, Sarah, with fists. Can you make a side fist? Yep. And now she's setting up the same way she just did. Toes pressing down, kneecaps up, glutes on. Now she's really trying to lift her abdominals up so her hip bones are off the mat. She just did it. That was great. And also she's dragging herself forward so it feels like her sternum is going up over towards that wall over there. And all I want you to do here, we're just going to do one bend of the knee, Sarah, with a pointed toe. Yep. And the trick is, and then set it down. And she's going to keep alternating, and what she's trying to do is not let her hips move side to side. It's really hard not to. And I can see her hips moving. She got it that time. It didn't move. You have to connect those low abs up and in. And what this does is it opens those hip flexors. It opens the front of your quad. It opens that, lengthens that psoas muscle and helps support you in a little bit of extension. That is the opposite of what happens when you're leaning forward. So we love this just for this. There's more to the exercise than this, but this is a great way to get started. And you're going to notice as you're doing it whether or not you can keep that pelvis stable. Keep trying. It's worth it. Last set. Good. Yep. And sit back and shell stretch. You did it. Woo! All right. So we're going to do just a little bit of side leg series, okay? So why don't you lie on your side, long legs. And what if we just did side kick? There's a whole series we have here that works the side body. And she's going to line, the easiest way to think about it is to line up ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and feet with the back of your mat. And yep, your shoulders can come back a bit. Sometimes you need a little help from a friend here. You got it. You're fine. Hand in front like a kickstand, shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. Now, in order for her not to kick me, I got to get out of the way now that I'm changing things up on her. Now, to be in neutral in this position, it's helpful to think about hiking that bottom hip, so her right hip up to her armpit. And you're going to see her top waist lengthen. And she has a little house for a mouse under there. Let's go ahead and lift this top leg up. Pike this bottom leg forward. We forgot to do that for side kick. Flex your foot. Yeah. And now she's going to keep this foot in the same plane as her hip, and her toes are going to go towards her nose. Inhale, inhale. And exhale, swoop to the back. You're going to touch maybe the edge of the box. Yep. Inhale, inhale. Exhale, back. Yep. And what she's doing is she's really working the side hip and building some stability and strength there. And as the foot comes forward, you want to make sure you're only moving the leg. The tailbone isn't curling under. So sometimes there's a sense of, as the foot goes forward, that your tailbone is reaching back. Yep. And maybe this is easy, maybe it's not. Do as many as you can for starters and just add on over time. She's making it look really easy, it's not. Good. And then rest that leg down, Sarah, and bend your knee up by your chest so they can just see what a nice stretch is. Let it go down to the mat, your knee go down to the mat. Can you rest your knee down on the mat? There you go. That should feel good. Does it feel good? You like that one better? Okay, she likes that one better. All right, let's go to the other side. You can bring your head down here. I think that'll be fine. Yeah. There you go. Ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and feet. Pike the bottom leg forward. Yeah. Lift the top leg, hip height. And you're going to flex as you come. Inhale, inhale, exhale, back. Yep. And now your foot is dipping down just a titch. And the same thing here is that bottom hip has to hike up so the top waist can stay long. And that way we're using our core to stabilize our pelvis and trunk against the movement of our leg, which is essentially what we do all day long in Pilates. And the stronger you get, the more complexity and variation and challenge we bring to it. And we start with the breath and move out from there. Good, 2 more. I'm not counting. We never count. Good. Let your knee come down into whatever position that you find is comfortable as a release for you. Good. We're going to go back up onto all fours. You can put your head down the other way. And we're almost done. So I want you to go down onto your elbows. This is another one I didn't tell you about. And we're going to do rotation from here. So ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and feet lined up. Just make sure your head is in line with your spine. And you're going to lift one elbow toward the sky and rotate up. Yep, push down with the bottom arm, so there you go, and then come back down and switch sides. Yep. And I started doing this recently with my clients, and I really like it. How does it feel?
It's hard.
She said it's hard. Yeah, so you feel like there's a little ball bearing in your sternum, and you're rotating around the ball bearing, and it really gets to that mid-thoracic spine, where we have the capacity for rotation, and we need rotation to keep the balance through that area, but we don't often get it. We take the rotation in places where there's a little more mobility. Good, one more after this, one more set. Good. So from here, come up onto all fours, hands under your shoulders. Yep, pointers pointing forward. And then let's curl your toes under. And I want you to do a push-up prep. So you're going to just make sure your abdominals are connected. Don't move any bone. Shoulders down your back. And hover your knees off the mat an inch. And you breathe. And then you rest your knees down. Yep. And on an exhale, lift off. Inhale, stay. Make sure the back of your neck is long. There you go. And then exhale, float down. 2 more. And this is just a nice way to challenge the core and the whole trunk, all the stabilizers in the spine, without doing a full push-up yet or a full plank. It's really great for your shoulders too. Good. and then come back from there. Now, can you take a break and sit back and shell stretch real quick? Yeah. Sometimes it gets hard on your wrists if you stay on all fours a lot, so you can do some stretches like that. Good. And then come back up one more time. I also didn't tell you about this. I'm gonna have you go up into your down dog. So curl your toes under, and then, yep, and you're gonna just keep your knees bent as you shift your weight back off your hands, yep. So I want you to think about sticking your tail feathers up to the sky here and dropping your armpits to the mat. Lift your eyes a bit so you're looking between your hands. And keep dropping your armpits and pushing away from your hands. Yeah, this is the stretch I want you to have first. And then, if you can, you're gonna start to stretch your heels toward the mat without changing your upper body. Not easy. She's making it look beautiful and easy, and it's not. And it feels really good to pedal your knees here, right? One knee, and then the other. And this opens that whole back line and just gives you a nice stretching feeling. Yep. And then from here, both heels reach down, and you just imagine sort of the energy coming up from the hands all the way up the spine, and then down the back of the legs as your heels reach for the mat. Yep. And then come down onto your knees, Sarah. We're going to end on our back, so you get to just lie down. Woohoo! So from here, I want you to do the big X stretch. Do you remember this one I've done in classes where you just reach through all four, your hands and your feet, all four limbs. You inhale like a big yawn through the whole body, and then you exhale, just release everything into the mat. And you inhale a couple times. All four limbs are stretching through the toes, through the fingertips, jazz hands. Every cell in the body is stretching. And then you release. Yeah, now do the right arm and the left leg. So you have one side of the cross. And then release, and the other side. How's it feel? Feels good? And then all four again, last time. Good. And then just release right into the floor. Good. Bring your hands down by your hips. Keep your feet there if you're comfortable, or they can come a little closer together. And I want you to just take a couple of breaths. Your eyes can stay open or closed. And I'm going to teach you a little bit of a relaxing movement that we do. So go ahead, and you can go ahead and do it, Sarah, where you rock your feet. So you're just gonna, yeah. And as you rock, and what you want to do is it's a little smaller range and a little faster. Yeah. So all you're doing is you're feeling the rocking sensation through the whole body, and you're noticing where you feel it and where you don't. And if there's a place maybe in your glutes or your back, or maybe your head's not moving or your shoulder's not moving, you just wonder, as I rock, and it doesn't have to be super fast. It can be slower, but it's a whole body movement. And this is one of those exercises that helps stimulate all of the connective tissue through the body, and it's very calming. Yeah. And then after you do that for a little bit, just paying attention and enjoying the movement, you can just settle into a nice, quiet position. And you can go ahead and close your eyes. And if you don't like that for your body, you can just soften your vision, and you can just breathe and notice the sensations of your body. Maybe you feel a little tingling. Maybe you feel stretched and open. Maybe you just feel exhausted and you want to release into gravity and feel really held by the floor. And so the idea is that as you breathe here, think about nice long exhales. So you have an easy breezy inhale, and see if you can extend your exhale to 5 or 6 counts. And that, we know, will help tone and stimulate the vagus nerve. That will calm your nervous system. And so this is the part of the workout that most people say, I gotta go, I gotta keep going, and this is probably the most important part. If you can give yourself 10 breaths here, it will just really help you feel calm, and you'll leave this little workout energized. Good. How do you feel, Sarah? You feel okay? Yes. All right, you can come on up to sitting. We did it. The other piece I wanted to mention is that if you're on your feet all day, or you're doing procedures where you need to use your fine motor skills and you're using your hands a lot, or if you're doing things where you have to be still a lot, there are other videos we have on the Move Wellness YouTube channel, and I don't want you to forget about your hands and feet, and I don't want you to forget about getting the whole body moving really consistently. So the mantra, use it or lose it, really is true, right? We found as we're working with clients, and we know that just a little bit of stimulation in the hands and feet and balance mobility through the whole body will help you train for your job and so that you can be successful and pain-free for as long as you want to. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that if you have any questions for us, you'll reach out to us at movewellness.com. You can find us on social media. We always appreciate those call outs. You can leave us a comment here, and I hope you have a great day and keep moving this week.